1. The multi-layered meaning and appeal of the title Pe Guo. The movie's title, Pe Guo, functions as a literary device in its own right, resonating with more than just a name. The unfamiliarity we feel when we first hear it soon gives way to curiosity, which leads us to ponder its meaning. Literally meaning broken fruit or blemished fruit, the word is likened in literature to a fruit that is slightly bruised or blemished, but the flavor and value of the kernel inside has not changed. It's an exquisite metaphor for the current state of the protagonist, who may be physically past his prime, but still retains the intrinsic value of decades of honed skills, experience, and keen insight, implying an inner strength and mastery that exists beyond the decline of his outward appearance. Interestingly, Pagua has another interpretation, meaning 16 years old. This is in stark contrast to his younger, cooler self, his nail days, further illuminating the theme of the passage of time, change, and the unchanging nature of existence. The dual title captures the complex identity of the characters who have passed their sharpest and greenest days and are now in their twilight years, both mature and fragile at the same time. The title, with its rich connotations, serves as a key to the film's narrative and a compelling invitation for the audience to delve deeper into the characters' inner lives and the film's thematic consciousness. 2. Solid source material and a successful media mix. The movie is rooted in the novel of the same name by Byung-mo Koo, known for his films such as Ami and Wizard Bakery. The author's dry yet lyrical style, original world-building, and in-depth exploration of the human psyche have already made a strong impression on many readers. Not only did this solid narrative and compelling characterization provide excellent fodder for the film, but it also had the potential to be adapted for the stage. In fact, a musical of the same name was successfully premiered in 2024. The fact that the mediums of film and musical theater, with their different forms of expression, chose the same source material and brought it to the public at roughly the same time is a clear indication of the universal resonance and timeless appeal of the story of Pe Guo. Comparing how the original novel, movie, and musical have interpreted and implemented the world of Pe Guo in their respective mediums is another interesting way to enjoy this work. 3. Shadow of a Legend. A killer piece and a nail from the past. At the heart of the film is the 60-something female killer Piece, a character fully embodied by actress Lee Ha-young. She is a living legend of the industry, having spent a whopping 40 years working in the dark corners of society, disposing of those she was meant to eliminate in the name of quarantine. While her exact age is never specified in the story, her semi-white hair, the shades of age on her face, and the seasoning that comes with a long career make it clear that she's past her physical prime and into the twilight of her life. Scoffing at the notion that people in their 70s would have a hard time surviving in a killer world where physical prowess is paramount, Fragment is still a top-notch active agent who flawlessly executes missions when called upon by her organization. Instead of relying on mere strength or speed, she does things her own way, compensating for weaknesses with decades of experience, meticulous planning, and insight into the minds of her opponents. But she wasn't always a seasoned piece. Much earlier in her blue youth, she was known as Nails, a faster, more deadly and ruthless killer who didn't allow herself to be swayed by emotion. Cynthia, who captivated audiences with her overwhelming presence in The Witch 2, portrays this Nails era. While Cynthia has recently broadened her acting spectrum with other genres, she brings back the same chilling, unpredictable energy that she displayed in Witch 2, amplifying the curiosity and anticipation for the Nails character that started the legend. The three-dimensional portrayal of the same person, separated by the gap of time, Nails and Pieces, past and present, and portrayed in different ways by two actors, Cynthia and Lee Ha-young, is the most important narrative axis and viewing point of the movie. 4. The arrival of a new era. Bullfighting as a threatening competitor. Quietly but surely, the world of sculpture, which has been leading a solitary life in its own order, begins to be violently shaken by the arrival of a young and fierce killer, Tu-woo. Played by actor Kim Sung-cheol, Tu-ho is a character whose origins are unclear, but his killing prowess is unquestionable. His method of eliminating his targets is marked by overwhelming strength, speed, and brutality in contrast to the delicacy of his sculptures. He is more ostentatious than necessary, and gives the impression that he revels in destruction rather than efficiency. Recognizing his dangerous talent and ambition, the organization's de facto ringleader, Lost Chief, played by Kim Kang-woo, sees him as a new trump card. The problem is that Tu-woo doesn't hide his outright hostility to the pieces who are respected and revered within the organization. In a killer world where stealth and submission are virtues, he treats the way and very existence of the sculpture like a relic of an outdated era, provoking them at every turn. It's a knee-jerk reaction that feels personal, beyond the need for generational change. Bullfighting's arrival is more than just the emergence of a new competitor. It sends ripples that upset the balance of the world that sculpture has long maintained, threatening her very raison d'etre. His presence inevitably foreshadows a clash with sculpture, plunging the entire organization into a state of unpredictable tension. 5. Warmth in a frozen heart and a looming shadow. After 40 years of emotionally isolating himself and cutting himself off from others, an unexpected crack appears in Fragment's life. On a rainy day, she feels compassion for an old, sickly stray dog. She finds on the street and impulsively takes him to the veterinarian's office, where she meets Dr. Kang Yeon-woo Jin, a veterinarian with warm, compassionate eyes. Dr. Kang's unconditional kindness and sincere attitude toward life sends tiny ripples through her otherwise steel-hard heart as she cares for the old dog, whom she names Dance, and engages in brief but humanizing conversations with Dr. Kang. She begins to open up very slowly and unknowingly. Ironically, however, this experience of forgotten human emotions, of caring for and connecting with someone, threatens to prove to be her fatal weakness. For the very fact that she has someone to care for, an emotional bond formed, is the most effective line of attack for those who wish to eliminate her. A small change, painstakingly made by Fragment, becomes the prelude to a massive crisis that could shake her life to its foundations. 6. The past shackles the present, Yun-won's narrative. As the movie ramps up toward the end, the tension builds to a crescendo, centered around sculpture, bullfighting, and the inevitable confrontation between the two killers. What appears on the surface to be a clash of old and new generations, a power struggle within an organization, or a clash of different murder methods, is gradually revealed to be a deep past connection and a nepotistic relationship, a complicated tangle of grace and resentment that no one could have predicted. As we learn why Tu-woo harbors such intense animosity toward Fragment and the source of his unrelenting hatred is linked to a specific event in the past, the confrontation between the two becomes more than just a competition for survival, but a fight for destiny. The Fragment's memories hint at the possibility that a single episode from the past, faint or non-existent in the Fragment's mind, may have been the source of a massive trauma and vengeful motivation for the bullfighter, one that runs through his entire life. But what is the truth of the past that binds these two men? And what will be the end of this tragic fate that forces them to turn their blades on each other? The movie follows this question and delivers unpredictable suspense. 7. Maternal or compassionate complex emotions bloom amidst destruction. In the extreme confrontation of destroying each other, the audience may sense a strange undercurrent of emotions flowing between the sculpture and the bullfight. Paradoxically, in some moments a complex atmosphere develops, reminiscent of a mother-son relationship, which goes beyond simple hostility, perhaps a distorted form of love, an intense compassion, or an arrival of identification, where one finds one's past or future in the other. Despite the fact that the only way to end the relationship is to kill each other, the flashes of human anguish, fleeting understanding of the other, or unconscious protective instincts along the way, are the key elements that elevate Paguwa beyond the category of a simple hard-boiled action movie. These complex emotional lines add depth to the characters, emphasize the tragedy of the violence, and leave a lasting impression. 8. Actress Lee Ha-young's dedication and unwavering acting quality. Lee Ha-young's performance in Paguwa is more than just a characterization, it's a remarkable commitment. Despite being in her 60s, she performed the intense action scenes for the film without a substitute. And despite suffering serious injuries, including broken ribs in the process, she was professional enough to complete the shoot. The fact that she continued her passion for acting even when she broke another rib before the first one was healed speaks volumes about how deeply she immersed herself in the character of Peace and the film. In Korean cinema, it's unprecedented for an actress in her 60s to take center stage. 9. Infinite possibilities. The dawn of the Pagwa universe. While Pae Guo is a complete story in itself, It also hints at a vast, expandable universe. The film feels like a glimpse into a larger world, leaving audiences yearning for more. A prequel about Hornclaw's youth as Nail, a sequel following her next journey, or spin-offs exploring the organization and other killers are all imaginable. The rich characters and unique, expandable world building suggest a bright future for Pagua as a franchise IP. The ongoing story of the undying legend Hornclaw and those around her will be something to watch for in the future.